All right, so I think the stream thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, Mega ZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 108. And oh shoot, what a couple of weeks it has been. I don't know about you, Steven. I'm kind of dog tired. There's some reasons for it though, both the good, the bad, and not so much the ugly, but the good and bad. Because I don't know, I felt like these past couple of weeks we had some people. One person was on vacation, and another person had to cover for a different store. So I felt like we were understaffed at my store. So I was just tired so much so that I was like, you know what, that's it. I need a little mini getaway, vacation, whatever, just a 1 day thing. So I literally went up to Branson just to go to Silver Dollar City, like an amusement park, and I just did that all day Saturday, and then came back here today and then had to work. But I'm feeling a bit better. Still a little tired, but at least I was able to get a little bit of that stress out of me though. But Steven, how you been, man?
Uh, I Work has kind of been annoying for me too, but like I don't know, it happens.
Yeah. Well, while life's been so-so, I guess, for the both of us, though, at least on the news front, I was thinking there was a whole lot of stuff that happened. There is a good chunk of it that has. It's more like condensed bits of chunks. Like there's a lot of stuff that went down with just Nintendo. And I was looking at all my gaming news topics. It's mostly geared towards that, at least when we get to the gaming news side of things, because obviously we had that partner direct that happened. So we got to talk about all the announcements with that. There was also the Pokemon Presents since the last episode, so we got to talk about that. And then obviously all these price hikes that came just after Nintendo reported on all their fiscal reports. They came with the goods, like high selling stuff, but then also they got to mark some, old consoles, accessories up. So we got to talk about all of that stuff. And then on the Marvel news, we both seen Fantastic Four, so we got to give our thoughts on that. And then a few other pop culture stuff here and there though that we'll kind of sprinkle up in the show as well though. So it should be a good episode nonetheless though. So we might as well go ahead and jump up in this mess though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into that pop culture segment. Alrighty, Steven. So I know you're the bigger Lego fan between the two of us though.
Hell yeah, yep.
But apparently, and I think this was already announced before, but we actually finally got to get a good look at it though. But yeah, Lego's doing another collaboration with Nintendo, not like, with some of the stuff that we had with Mario or Zelda though, but a whole entire console. Not the NES, because I remember that one, but the OG Game Boy. And pre orders have actually gone up for this thing though. And I know you're the Lego fan, and I know you're the one that has to pre-order this mess though. But I'm not much of a Lego fan. I messed around with some blocks and stuff during my heyday when I was a bigger, crazy youth. But this one actually got me to bite. I actually pre-ordered this thing from Best Buy.
I'll pre-order it soon enough. It comes out in October. Lego never really sells out.
Yeah, they typically don't. But I'm actually more surprised with the price point on this one because of the fact that this is only selling for $60. So you think that's just the cost of a regular old Switch game. I'm so used
Very
to their
unlikely.
things. Yeah, I'm so used to their things being way more expensive. Like I was thinking this would have been like $120, and at that point I would have been like, I'm out. I would have gotten this thing. But 60, I was like, I don't own an OG Game Boy, but that would be a good little prop just to kind of sit over there to the side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? That actually would be kind of cool. I hadn't put together anything Lego wise in a while though, so it'll be a project though. But it'll
Yeah.
be a cool little showpiece when it's all said and done.
Yeah, like I keep an eye on the comings and goings of Lego. They would have charged this thing at $100. I'm sure Nintendo was like, no, 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 you can't do that.
Mm. Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to this one though. It's not like I got to pick it up day one, so I chose the shipping option on that one though. So that's what I'm gonna do on that little piece though. So hey, maybe no. I was about to say have a race. No, you should be able to finish this thing before I do. I don't know, but
I hope so. I build these things frequently.
nah. But I do know when I do build this thing together, it ain't ever coming apart because I ain't doing this thing again.
Well, it's small. It's a Game Boy size. You probably shouldn't have to. It shouldn't take up too much space to where it can fall easily.
No, I'm just gonna stick it in that collection. I posted pictures and stuff. Well, there's a video on my channel at one point, but I got more stuff in the collection or whatever though. I took pictures on my Twitter account though, but it's just going in that on that shelf where I have pretty much all my amiibo stuff. Honestly, that shelf is getting so full now. I hadn't sent you an updated picture in a while, Steven. I got limited editions that are literally sitting on the ground and in another room now. I almost need a whole nother shelf now to just display most of the stuff I want to display, unfortunately. It's kind of unfortunate though, but dang.
Yeah, the Legos, they take up way too much space. That's the only reason I don't buy more of them. I have a disposable income from work. Would love to spend more of that on Legos. And I'm probably gonna buy a Lego set like tomorrow, but like besides that, I'm not buying that many of them recently.
Yeah.
I bought the well no, I got for my birthday Lego Optimus Prime Transformers, and now they're coming out with a new Lego Transformers set. I'm gonna buy that. And really, besides that, I'm not buying any more Legos.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
The issue is that the Lego sets that I like buying are usually like the bigger ones. I don't like buying small ones because especially nowadays they'll sell us like a set that would have been $50 a couple years ago is now $80.
Hmm.
The prices are absurd with Lego. That's the only problem because they always make a high quality product. I guarantee the Lego Game Boy is going to be really fun just to build, and it's going to be a nice little display piece. What it has like the little swappable displays for I think Link's Awakening, Tetris, and Mario Land, right?
Yeah, and they got the little cartridges too that you can just kind of sit next to the side of it as well. And
I like
yeah,
that. That's like the Atari one they made. If you've ever seen an image of that,
no, I hadn't seen that one.
yeah, it's got like little dioramas of like Centipede and this and that,
Hmm.
and then the actual cartridges.
Not bad, not bad.
And it's similar to the Lego NES, where it actually had a Mario Bros cartridge that you could insert into it.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting this one in my hands because, yeah, I think it'll just be a fun little afternoon putting this thing together. Hopefully, it don't take too much of my time, but if it's less than an hour, I'll call that a W. Gives me something to do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to whenever this comes out, and I'll say a W for Lego on this one. Keep that mess cheap. It doesn't need to be super expensive. Come on now, you know who you're selling this mess to. Ain't no actual kids. But anyway, though. All right, so that's pretty much it in terms of that. Now we're gonna go ahead and swing it on over to one other pop culture segment thing before we jump into the Marvel news because I got to talk about some movies that we recently watched. The Marvels thing will come a little later. We'll get to that here in a minute. But I gotta talk about Jurassic World real quick because it was the triple whammy, I think, in terms of movies that came out in July. Between Jurassic World, that came out first, then Superman, and then Fantastic Four. My plan was to watch all three of those movies, but something happened, so I didn't get around to the Superman one. And unless my crew wants to hop up to the theater and see it sometime relatively soon, that's just gonna be one I'll just see out on the streaming service whenever it hits. But Jurassic World, that was the one I could not miss because I like myself some dinosaurs. Like what other young guy, especially when you were a kid and stuff. Like I feel like everybody goes through those like them dinosaur craving days or whatever. Anyway, though, I don't know. The youth in me always likes to see all this crazy stuff with dinosaurs and stuff. Though I like the first three Jurassic Park movies and everything that had you know who I'm talking about, Steven. What you call it from Guardians of the Galaxy that starred up in all
Chris,
the
Chris
Chris
Pratt.
Pratt. I don't know why his name
Yeah,
was slipping my mind for a moment though, but every movie that he was in, it was still good. You might have some cheesy moments up in there, but relatively speaking, all those movies were solid. Maybe the lowest one on the totem pole was the one where they kind of brought back the older people that kind of resemble all of the OG Jurassic Park movie, though. But looking back at it, in retrospect, it's still good for whatever it does. This movie right here, obviously, you didn't bring back Chris Pratt. I don't know if he was asking for more money or what, but they brought in Scarlett Johansson, you know, the woman that plays Black Widow in all the Marvel movies and stuff like that. So I was kind of curious. I was like, I wonder how she's gonna take up the mantle as like the leading protagonist in this movie or whatever though. And after sitting on this movie for a little bit of time, that was definitely one of those kind of movies, almost similar to some action movies you can kind of see nowadays, where it's like it was enjoyable for the first time watch. I don't know if I can get nearly as much bang from it watching it a second time. That's kind of where I stand on it from. All the other Jurassic World and Park movies, I can actually enjoy it. I could just flip through the channels, see it back on again, and enjoy it from start to finish. I don't know if I could do that with this one. That's kind of where I'm standing on. But Steven, you hadn't watched this movie at all, though. But were you about to say something? I thought I saw you flash for a moment.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm not really a fan of Jurassic Park. I like the first movie, like like everyone does. Everyone likes the first movie, and then I seen the second one, and I was like, I don't know about that one. And then I genuinely do not remember a single thing from the third movie.
I think the third one had the Oh, I'm trying to make sure I didn't mix up my numbers. One of them had the Indominus Rex, and that was like a fusion of like the T Rex and like a really giant thing or whatever
That
though.
that's World. That's the Chris Pratt one.
So that's
But
the
the
very first one. Or I
Jurassic Park
mm.
3 is like a
Oh no, that's the one where they brought back the older characters and stuff from the Park series or whatever. Like that's the
well,
main thing
okay.
I remember from that.
So there's Jurassic Park 1, which we all know. Then Jurassic Park 2 is kind of like it's almost like a spin-off with Jeff Goldblum's character.
Yeah.
And then Jurassic Park 3 follows the other main characters from the original movie. And then Jurassic World has Chris Pratt, and it's like however long later. It's one of those classic reboots they did a couple years back. And then they did Fallen Kingdom and then Dominion, which I don't know. It's just a it's just dinosaur movie for the sake of dinosaur movie.
But
These
they're still
movies kind
all
of do,
good though.
yeah, but like they're not really trying to be anything but a dinosaur movie. They're not fine art. They're just dinosaur movie. That's my issue with them is that they feel kind of mindless. The original felt like it was trying to say something about about human nature, about just because we can doesn't mean we should. Like that whole message, I think was good in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a big problem, obviously. I just personally have never really been a fan of anything besides the first one.
Yeah. But overall, if I were to give it like a little rating out of 10, that's like a 6 to a 7 out of 10. Maybe closer to a 6. I don't know. I don't know. I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of it. Expecting at least a solid 7 out of 10, but couldn't even quite get that. I don't know. Ooh, sorry. I was trying to finish the starters because I'm tired. I I had to get some sugar up in me though. But yeah, that's it in terms of my little mini review on Jurassic World. Steven, I didn't have it a segment in my show. I would have if I saw the movie though. But did you want to go ahead and say what you want on the Superman movie? Because I may not see it where we can cover it in a podcast episode. Maybe I'll bring
But
it up some point in the distant future when I do watch it. But for now, I can't really say
yeah,
too much on it.
okay. Um, First of all, before this movie's out of theaters, go see it. It is definitely the best DC movie I have watched in a while, which probably since like The Dark Knight or whatever. One of those Batman movies that was released before the whole DCEU even started. But I just recently rewatched Man of Steel. What a dog shit movie. I hate Man of Steel so much.
I don't
It
even think
feels like the most.
I thought I might have seen clips, but I don't think I've seen that
It,
either from start to
it's
finish.
it's just so boring and looks bland, and I don't know. It's got this cynical mindset about about his his backstory in that movie is like really weird, and I don't like like how they portray his parents in it. This movie, it understands the whole point of Superman. It's not that he's Jesus or he's like this ultra powerful alien. It's that he's a at heart he was raised on Earth. he is a human, just struggling to deal with the choices he has to make with his newfound power. And he's a very, very optimistic person. He believes in good, which is not that easy to make that interesting. It's not easy to just make a character that's all good interesting, but this movie does a good job at it because the villain is so damn good. The villain in this movie, Lex Luthor, is probably just one of my favorite superhero villains in a while. Just he is so intent and like petty towards Superman.
Hold up. So
It's so
I, I
yeah,
ain't I ain't super well in terms of my DC knowledge, especially not with villains. But
yeah.
like, what's the main power of that antagonist? I don't think.
Lex Luthor is not superpowered, but he has he's a very, very smart and cunning person. He's a he's like I was gonna say BEO CEO. He's a billionaire. He controls like the narrative and like he can usually like get away with stuff behind closed doors.
So we're
He's
talking
just an overall
about
shitty
kind of
person.
kind of like a Oh gosh, why is his name slipping from me? I was trying to make a parallel to Marvel. Um, gosh,
I don't
dog,
know. If you
dang
could,
it! Oh my gosh,
if you've
the
if you've ever seen a movie in the
Fisk,
last however
Fisk,
many,
Fisk. That's what I was about to say.
yeah,
Kind of like that,
yeah,
like working stuff from the dark side, not turns like his raw strength, but just doing things on the dark
yeah,
web. Or yeah.
he's not a strong person physically, but he is extremely cunning with how he goes about things and just overall like really entertainingly evil. I love the movie a lot, specifically because of how he bounces off Superman. And it really does, like, the only way that you could make Superman being this really, really good person at work is if you have those morals tested by someone who's kind of just heinously evil.
So based upon that antagonist, it kind of, at least the vibe that I'm kind of getting without seeing the movie. That's kind of what's running in the back of my mind. Superman being just a really good person, he wouldn't really need to use his power so much unless he was just randomly helping strangers with,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know, some bad disaster or something. But in terms of that antagonist, he wouldn't really need to use his powers whatsoever at all against that
well,
dude.
yeah, he tries like not to use his powers in any malicious way compared to Man of Steel where he just kills the main villain. I don't know. The movie does a lot of interesting things. It has a lot of fun side characters. If you've watched Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a very similar vibe to that movie. James Gunn does a good job at balancing a bunch of characters in a one story. There's Green Lantern in this movie, a couple other characters that are like in a separate superhero team alongside Superman in this world, and it's just fun to watch. There's a lot of fun characters, and then just the human stuff is even good. Like Lois Lane talk and Clark Kent. His non Superman persona is just really fun to watch them as well. It's a very, I guess, down to earth superhero movie is the way I'd put it, in like a good way.
Yeah, I can see it because
It's I'm kind of stumbling my words. Half because I'm just tired because I had a long day, but like eh, all I could say is that this movie does feel like it feels like a movie that inspires hope. Like it does a good job of trying to make you believe. Oh my god, I really do want Superman to win. I hope he wins.
yeah, because I feel like that's always a tricky line with Superman. Because if he's like literally like one of the strongest beings, at least in that DC universe, it's like who can really
Well,
top
yeah,
him in terms of an antagonist role. You have to kind of take unique approaches with it. So
you
that's always that runs in the back of my mind. In comparison to something like a Batman who doesn't have powers whatsoever, it's really easy to pit him against whoever it is. It's a little easier to build up an enemy for him versus it is with Superman, which is a complete opposite. So
well
I don't know. Yeah.
that's why like half of Superman villains aren't really that well known. Like a lot of people, Superman doesn't have nearly as many interesting villains as Batman because you have to make like very specific villains for Superman. Like, Lex Luthor's really good, but I can't think of that many other Superman villains. Either way, though, the movie works perfectly for what it was trying to do, which is introduce a whole new universe in the span of one movie. And I love it a lot for that. I don't know. I went into this movie expecting it to be okay slash good. Just better than Man of Steel is what I expected. And then I went out thinking, yeah, I really liked this movie. I don't know if you necessarily. I was gonna say, like, I know you didn't like the Batman. This
Oh
movie is
heck
totally
no.
different. This movie is totally different from that. It is more fast paced. It goes from place to place very often, and it has a lot of characters doing cool shit. I think you probably would like this movie more.
Hey, it has to be
Let's see
anything.
the
Any movie got to be better than that thing. Cause like, oh shoot, I ain't a fan of that
I
slow
I
burn.
I can't disagree more, but like each their own.
All right, okay. Well, I guess that's all of our thoughts on the Superman stuff, though. So now we're gonna go ahead and swing it over to the next segment of the show. That being what's in the Marvel news. Alrighty, Steven, we finally got some Marvel news to kind of talk about. And no, I still hadn't sat down and watched all of the Ironheart series. That will come maybe in the next episode, maybe in the next one. The next one. But for now, we got some teases for Spider-Man Brave New Day. And I was looking at first because it was like a 5 to 6 second shot on YouTube at first, and I saw some like brief images of a new Spider-Man suit potentially. I was like, wait, this got to be like from one of them fan accounts or whatever, because it's only like a 6 second video. And then I looked back down at the thing, and I was like, no, that was the official, Marvel Entertainment, YouTube channel. I was like, wait, what the free? And then a little later on, then they actually showed Tom Holland repping a brand new Spider-Man suit. Pays a little more homage to like the traditional like Spider-Man 1 through 3 kind of suit that that he was wearing back then though. But I was like, oh, okay, I can see it though. I mean, the movie does come out next year in around summertime ish, give or take.
I
And
really
that's
like
all we
the
got
new
for the tease.
the new suit looks really good. It's just that it has like texture, like the webbing is raised on it,
Yeah.
so it looks a lot more interesting. It doesn't look like it's just fucking printed on, or it's like this ultra sleek suit. It does look really nice though. It's a nice suit, and it is very similar to the suit we seen at the end of No Way Home, which and also, are you fine with me saying things about the cast and like some photos from the set that we've seen?
Oh shoot, Steven. Now not everybody keeps up with that news. All right. I
Well,
think
that's why I'm
I think
asking. Are
I
you?
mean I think I've seen two Marvel heroes that are allegedly coming back. I saw that pop up on Twitter feed. That didn't hurt or harm me that much. Um
Uh, you fine with me saying something about villains?
no on
Because
villains. We could say heroes. We'll stay away from the villains. I hadn't
well,
seen the
I was gonna say,
villains.
well, one of the villains specifically posted about it on social media, so it's not even necessarily a secret.
It's not that a secret. It's just that some people just want to kind of see it in a trailer, or more importantly, see it in the movie itself. I don't know
Okay,
how. I don't
fine.
know how I
I
dodged the
will,
villains, but I've seen some of the other superheroes that possibly
so,
could pop up.
oh yeah, I'm gonna mention those other heroes then.
All right.
I think it's really interesting that they're doing almost kind of a street level story again with Spider-Man, it seems. They're filming in New York, and then from what we've seen, the movie is going to have Hulk in it, which is really cool. Having Hulk in just a Marvel movie again. Because what was the last fucking movie Hulk was in? Was it Endgame?
I think movie wise, it was in game because
My
other than
God.
that, I remember him being in some TV show series. The last TV show series or the last appearance we had whatsoever from him was She-Hulk. But yeah, before that, it
Yeah,
was
they gotta give
Endgame.
him. They gotta do something interesting. They did this whole Professor Hulk thing. They didn't. They made him Smart Hulk. Do something with it. Maybe I don't know. Do something interesting with Hulk again. And Spider-Man is a worthy matchup. Like Spider-Man is extremely strong. So I don't know if they would be fighting or if they would be teaming up. Because you got to remember that Bruce Banner is not going to remember who Spider-Man is.
Yeah, so I guess they gotta kind of remedy that somewhat kind of fast. Well,
Well, actually, wait a
not
second.
really
I,
fast, but
I just thought about it. Bruce Banner would not have even known who Spider-Man was anyways, because he was up in space during the events of Civil War and only came back down during Infinity War.
oh yeah, because remember, in Infinity War, it was kind of like they had the A team and the B team. The A team was like the people that went up into space, and the B team were like all the people that kind of fought around like the Wakandan area. And
Yeah,
those two
so
were separated during all those events during that Infinity War
yeah.
movie. They technically were fighting on the same plane in Endgame, but I mean that was just a lot of chaos going around. They weren't like they were having a conversation with each other. But yeah,
And also he was kind of in bad condition after doing the snap.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's just going to be kind of interesting because I feel like it'd be interesting to see if like the general public in the MCU recognizes Bruce Banner as like the person that saved all those people, because he did. Like he is the one that did the snap and saved all of the people that died. So I feel like if there's gonna be a mention of that, it would be in this movie. Because I feel like if you saved that many people, you probably would have people. If this is like a street level movie, I'm sure someone's gonna mention it just randomly throughout the movie. Um. Besides that, though, yeah, in Age of Ultron, he gets sent up into space, and then he only comes back down about 3 years later in Infinity War, where he's on Earth the whole movie, while Spider-Man goes to space. So even not even considering the memory wipe thing, he only very briefly knew who Spider-Man was.
Yeah. So I'm
So that's interesting right there. And then
and I
oh, did
did
you have anything to say
no.
about Hulk?
It was
Yeah,
kind of
sorry.
funny because I think some people I saw this down in some of the comment sections and like some Twitter posts. They were like, "Oh, they could be referencing to a part in the comic where it was like everybody forgot about who Peter Parker's identity was,
But Hulk didn't,
but
right?
Hulk didn't. Bruce did, but that doesn't work because Bruce and the Hulk are one as like the smart Hulk now. So that logic couldn't apply to what we're doing in the MCU. But it's kind of funny how
Yeah.
yeah.
Or well, since Bruce Banner is very smart, he might just be able to deduce who it is. I don't know.
Mm, I don't know. It'd be a little weird though.
Well, it's weird. Yeah, no, people just don't even know who Peter Parker. Like Peter Parker has like no records now. He has no family. He has nothing. He's like a completely new person at the end of No Way Home. No one knows who he was. He just kind of appeared out of nowhere in the minds of everyone. But like Hulk by itself makes this movie kind of cool. Like that, I would watch it just for that. And then they're putting Punisher in the movie, and we don't know the role yet. But let's be honest, Punisher is someone that Spider-Man would really not like.
It's kind of interesting because I do like the interesting dynamics that you can have between Spider-Man, Punisher, and we got teases of it in the Daredevil series because Daredevil was also teasing Spider-Man and Punisher as well. So I mean, like they can go an interesting direction with that with him with Punisher. I
Yeah,
don't
you have
know. I mean, shoot, we might see Fist as the main villain up in this. I don't know. And I hadn't seen nothing.
um
No, and I don't want to hear nothing from you, Steven. No, don't give no ums or nothing. Let me think. Let me think and dream for a moment though until I see
okay,
that first trailer.
think and dream, think and dream. I'm not
Okay.
gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything about villains.
Okay. But anyway, though, other than that, I mean, we don't have much of a tease to kind of go off of. Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that third Spider-Man movie again because I feel like it's been quite a while though. But yeah, I'm looking at the release date schedule, kind of these upcoming Marvel movies that we have now, because there's only three on the docket. So it's basically between this, which is supposed to come out July 31st, 2026. And then you have Doomsday, December 18th, 2026. And then Secret Wars will be December 17th of 2027. So only two Marvel movies next year. So we got a ways to wait now, almost a whole calendar year at this point.
Yeah, very interesting choice.
Yeah, because I do remember the Avengers movies that were supposed to be in May, but they got delayed back to December though.
I see,
So
I seen people saying, dude, Marvel is back. You know, the MCU is back. When is the next MCU movie Spider-Man?
it is the next one.
Oh my god. Yeah, the MCU is not fucking back. If anything, they had way too much content and now they got like nothing. No, like I don't know.
Yeah, it's just mostly these Disney Plus stuff. Cause I remember they were working on so much stuff at one time, and now this all got happened to be done at this point. So a lot of we have enough Marvel content for this year between the shows and the movies, but it's rolling into next year. It's just pretty dry. The only thing I know of besides Spider-Man and Avengers, we're supposed to have Daredevil season 2 come back, and I'm still looking forward to that. That'll be my other personal Marvel highlight. But outside of that, ain't too much going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. They definitely realized a little too late that the MCU was in a really bad spot. Like that's what happens when you constantly lose that goodwill. When you get too invested in fucking multiverse, this and that. The multiverse was definitely the worst option for the MCU to go, in my opinion. Because come on, nothing in Endgame even teases multiverse story. Endgame puts a lot of plot points in motion, like Thor joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. That could have been really interesting in a good movie.
Oh yeah, because they
Uh,
dropped him off at the very beginning of his movie and said, "Oh, that's it."
yeah,
And I was like,
and
well,
then you
hold on.
have yeah, Captain America: Brave New World and like Thunderbolts and all that. Those movies feel like they belong in the MCU. Like I'm Brave New World isn't an amazing movie, but it does feel like a movie that is in this universe. Okay, you had this crazy event happen in universe, and it led directly into Captain America, and that sets up him being the leader of a new Avengers team. That kind of feel Brave New World feels like it should have been right after Endgame. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, just the stuff right after Endgame is kind of proves my point of how fucking annoying the MCU has been. Well, I know Far From Home is the first movie after Endgame, which makes sense. Eter- Eternals is so useless. Well, nothing from that movie will ever come back, and nothing's gonna happen with them. You want to know my opinion? That movie should have been the only movie that featured the multiverse. Well, yeah, it's just about a follow up to WandaVision. I don't know. I don't really think anything in that movie is gonna ever come back. Like, Thor's. Well, I understand bringing her back, but like screaming goats, this and that. I definitely did think Thor needed like a new movie, but I think it should have been Thor with the
Hold up.
Guardians, and
Okay,
then
hold up.
maybe at
Hold
the
up.
end.
Hold up. Gosh dang it. I don't know for how long I was talking without my thing being on me. You heard me. The people on the stream didn't. Gosh dang it. Just a little quick
Well, for the
recap.
whole thing.
No, just for this Marvel part. Not the whole thing. Like when I started talking about all of these movies, I was just
Okay,
basically saying these movies. I was going through Phase 4 and Phase 5 movies. These are the ones that we're gonna keep, and these are the ones I think I could have gotten away with. Black Widow could have stayed. Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings was a movie that I was like, I felt like that was the best Superman movie that came out that brought a new character in and did justice. Eternals, heck no, that's in the trash. We can get rid of you. Doctor Strange was a little funny at some times, but that was still good. And I said a hot take on Thor: Love and Thunder. I think that movie could have got axed,
should have
or it
just been
needed
a
to been, or it could have
completely
been
different movie.
reworked completely from the ground up. You had some nice moments with the kid, but like there was some weird old stuff up in that movie. I was like, I don't know. I don't think it holds up as well with the other three Thor movies, and
Thor:
that's
Love and
saying so.
Thunder could have been good.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was all the Phase 4 movies. Then we roll it over to the Phase 5. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium. I don't think it's a bad movie, but given on the premise of what has all happened and the plot points of where it could have gone versus where it can't go, take it or leave it. 50-50 coin toss on that movie. Like the antagonist
No,
needs to be completely
what?
reworked given what we got now.
In my opinion, no. I think Ant Man's story could have definitely just. I don't know. I feel like it either could have ended there, or they could have done Quantumania and actually did just have Kang be a one-off villain. The issue is that in Quantumania, they very obviously they heavily focused on him being important later.
Yeah, so that's just the unfortunate cards that was dealt with the MCU on that one. Because the stuff they
Yeah,
were
this
setting
had.
up with Loki was good. I could see the potential. It's just we're just not gonna get the fruit of it. It's just gonna be a what if at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Or you could have had Kang beat Ant Man, and then a distress signal is sent out. Like, Ant Man is trapped in the quantum realm, and oh my god, the Avengers have to save him. And then that's how they find out about Kang. You could have still had Kang be like this intermission villain,
Yeah,
while the big bad was in the background. Kind of like how you had Loki kind of serving Thanos.
yeah. I don't know.
Oh, so much, so
Hindsight's
much shit.
2020. It's just 2020 at this point. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that was solid. That could stay. The Marvels is an iffy one.
No, that's one off.
I love
One
Miss
off
Marvel.
trash.
I love Miss Marvel and stuff, and I think she's good. I wish she kind of had her own movie. Her
No,
show is
but
good. I wish she had her own movie though. But it's just something with Captain Marvel. I don't know.
genuinely, does that movie actually matter to anything, or will it ever matter?
Well, the only thing is once again with the multiverse thing because they literally threw Captain Rambo in a whole different universe with the oh gosh, what was it? With the
The,
X-Men or whatever though. So it was kind of making that tie with the X-Men and bringing them back
but you
using the
see what I
multiverse. But
mean? It
that was the only thing
the
at the
post
end of the
credits.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Post credit scenes should be supplementary. They shouldn't be the only thing the movie is useful for.
But yeah.
That's like my problem. That's like my problem with Ant Man and the Wasp, where Ant Man and the Wasp is a fucking useless movie, except for that post credit scene, because it shows that Ant Man escaped all that.
Yeah, so then that was it on that. Deadpool and Wolverine was solid. Leave it in.
Oh yeah.
And then from that point onward, I felt like all the movies we gotten since then have all felt like we're going back to like what is almost kind of like a phase one ish kind of feel. So
That's
Captain
because
America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and now Fantastic Four.
well, that's because Deadpool and Wolverine was really when these movies started slowing down, like tremendously. But yeah, I definitely think you could have cut Thor: Love and Thunder. You could have cut every single multiverse project except for Doctor Strange. Maybe even just cut Doctor Strange.
No, don't
He
cut
served
Doctor
it.
Strange. His movie was still cool. Just make because Wanda was mainly the antagonist in that movie. It still worked out.
I have I don't know. I have problems with Wanda being the antagonist in that movie, but like whatever.
Hey, I mean, she's our own worst villain at this point. Let's be honest. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's it. That's all the little what if little game I wanted to quickly play here real quick. But yeah, yeah. So we went from Spider-Man to doing that whole list. We got one more thing Marvel to talk about, and then we'll keep it over or kick it over to the next segment though, because we do have to give our thoughts on Fantastic Four, because that's the newest Marvel movie that we got out right now, and it's the last movie we're gonna get into. The Spider-Man movie comes out July 31st of next year, and man, I gotta say, this movie definitely feels like a family vibe. I was wondering how they were gonna play this off, but I think they did a really nice job with showing how, all four of these people, they act as a pretty good, well niche family. Obviously, in terms of like actual bloodlines, I mean, what you got the main two, Mr. Fantastic, Storm. You got them two. Obviously, they're married. Storm's brother over there. That makes sense. The only family friend or the family friend guy, the thing. He's the only one that's not related by blood. But you
Yeah.
wouldn't think about it considering all their interactions between each other. And that's the
Yeah, I'm
thing I
pretty
like.
sure. Well, yeah, he's like Reed's best friend from what I remember, I think.
Yeah.
He's Reed's best friend and also probably like was the best man at his wedding. It's
Hmm.
as close as family as you're gonna get. It's like yeah, it's the MCU's done this found family stuff a lot.
Yeah, because every now and then, shoot, even in in real life and stuff, you'll have that one person that's not necessarily family, but might have been associated with your family or whatever. Like you might have some really strong family friends. Like I knew some,
Yeah.
and some other people might be able to relate with a character like him though. So that's basically what you got with this family though. And it's not just a traditional Fantastic Four fighting against some Silver Surfer that we kind of already have seen played out in some of the other previous Fantastic Four movies, but they also introduce what I mean, shoot, they could have almost called it the Fantastic Five. But yeah, you had the whole baby character that was kind of introduced in this movie, though. So I was kind of curious to see how well they were going to handle that new member. Because, I mean, like, what, when you got a baby involved, it's like, dang, it's like, how much can you really do versus
He's a
being all
plot
out?
device.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. So, I mean, I was kind of wondering how, but I think everything managed to balance out quite well. We got to see the powers from pretty much all four of them. I feel like the ones they kind of used the most, Storm's abilities was actually
Yeah, no.
good,
Sue
and Human Torch. I
they
think we
use
saw
Sue
theirs the
Storm.
most.
They use Sue Storm a ton, which is cool. But they don't really show like Thing doing that much. They don't show the
Mm-mm.
Thing fighting that many people, and
Thing
they don't.
and Mr. Fantastic, I think, got the short end of the stick, while the other two got a whole lot more.
Yeah, Johnny gets this whole subplot about like trying to decode the Silver Surfers like language and like the quote unquote like love arc. The one-sided romance there. Either
Mm-hmm.
way, though, I like that they portray Johnny as smart because not a lot of the other Fantastic Four movies do that. They just show him as the hothead that loves the ladies and this and that, which he still kind of is that in this movie. But he went on he went on the spaceship for a reason. He's really smart. I don't know. And most of the time, they don't really portray that. So seeing him do some smart stuff and seeing him actually do stuff that matters to the movie was cool. I'd say all of them equally matter to the movie. Like the only one that doesn't really do that much plot relevant stuff is the Thing, but at the same time he's piloting the ship when they're escaping halfway through the movie and this and that.
Yeah, and then he always,
He's still important.
yeah, he was still important. And if anything, he kind of played that role as like the funny uncle or whatever. Though, like
Yeah,
he was there for
I
some
like him.
comic relief and stuff like that. So the lines that he was given in the movie, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I like when he's just in the street, and like entertaining those kids by lifting the car
Oh
and
yeah,
this
no,
and that. Like
yeah,
he feels like the most. Maybe it's a pun because he's made out of rock, most down to earth member.
mm,
He's
yeah,
he's just he's still just a guy. He doesn't have the most. He doesn't have like flying or invisibility or super intelligence. He's just a guy that punches shit.
yeah. So
I don't know.
I'll go ahead.
But I was just gonna say the thing that bothered, like, really one of my big issues with the movie, if I had to think of one, because I do really like this movie as well. Mr. Fantastic does not feel that well utilized in this movie. He's, he's obviously got like the scene where he like they kind of argue, I guess, about how, oh my god, you think all of these things, or
Man,
you're
hold
so
up, hold up.
smart.
Okay, I ain't trying to give away all the plot points in this movie though, but
No,
holy
that was
shoot,
very
Sue
vague.
Storm jumping on that dude's back during that, and the dude wasn't even saying or verbally saying or doing anything that implied that he was doing something bad, but yet she had the wherewithal to jump on that man. Man, I was about to say, now look here, woman. I was like, I wanted
Okay,
to pop off.
right,
I wanted to pop
right.
off on her. I was like, come on now. I was like
Well,
saying
to
and
be
doing and think.
fair,
I know thinking of it is still bad, but she was like egging him on and pulling that out of him
well,
before he
to
could
be
even do
fair,
anything. Like he
I
was trying to save a whole planet. Gosh dang it!
that's what I'm saying. I just feel like we don't really see enough of him in the movie, like from a personal level. Like for example, we should have seen him being more like nervous and being more nervous about having a child, or thoughts about kind of like, oh god damn it, I feel bad that this accident happened,
Nervous
and it
having
kind
a
of made me
child. They
sensitive.
tried how many times? Or at least what they set up in the movie. I don't know. Anyway, though.
Alright, and then he doesn't stretch at all. I could
Yeah.
say a
Okay.
couple issues where
Yeah.
Richards,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I know he builds this wacky stuff. Like, I don't know. I I feel like you could have just done more with him. He's fine. It's hard to describe. I just definitely think there's a little bit of missed opportunity. I think the movie, like nowadays, movies are way too long, but I genuinely do think this movie could have used like an extra 30 minutes,
Yeah.
extra, just for character building. Maybe
No,
at
I
the
felt like
beginning of the
character building was
movie.
there. This is maybe more impactful moments. Doesn't necessarily have to be like action, but like some stuff that's just going down and they having to figure it out. But I don't know. They were having to figure out a lot of stuff up in this movie though.
Yeah,
I did like the futuristic kind of like old timey, but future. That's really hard to describe. I don't even
but
think there's a word for it though. But
you
I did like the setting of where it's all at.
you kind of hardly see that too, though. They
Yeah.
spend a lot of the movie either at nighttime, where all the lights, where everything's turned off at nighttime, or in space. A
Yeah.
very small portion of the movie is actually spent like seeing the futuristic city that they built.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see a little bit more of it though, but I don't know. It was cool. Well, I guess mostly what you saw was just them in their
Yeah,
living headquarters for the most part though. But yeah,
yeah,
at least for everything that they had going on in this movie, I thought it was a really nice, humble, down to earth story. It wasn't super crazy. Um, yeah. Actually, the villains in this were front and center because based on the first couple trailers we got. Between Silver Surfer and Galactus, I think both of them did their jobs well. I thought the CGI was pretty well done in this one, though. Some people are sticklers for that mess, though, but I didn't see no issues with it whatsoever. And
people
overall, I say the movie was a
Stupid
solid 8
people.
out of 10.
That's my ranking as well. Stupid people were like, "Oh my god, Silver Surfer is a woman now." Like, who cares? Silver Surfer's never been all that interesting. This movie at least did something interesting with her by giving her the romance, like the plot with Johnny. Made Silver Surfer slightly more interesting than just being a servant of Galactus that eventually betrays him like all the other this and that. Every other story with Silver Surfer, I don't know. And speaking of Galactus, I love Galactus in this movie. He really does command the presence when he's on screen.
I mean,
The
the
CGI with
dude's
him is
big.
great. He looks great. I like the thing they do with his eyes glowing. Kind of shows like, oh, he means business when his eyes start to glow. Whether that means he's like scanning something or this and that, putting it up for protection.
Yeah.
And then the way he talks as well. Like, yeah, he's smart. Obviously, he's been around since like the beginning of the universe. He's obviously smart, but at the same time, like, it definitely is an interesting portrayal of Galactus because usually Galactus is kind of like neutral, like he's just a force of nature. He doesn't really want to eat planets, but he has to. This movie, he is like going out of his way to be malicious because he wants that child. Maybe the comics also do that, but like in this movie where he's like going out of his way to get this child, so the child can take over what he's doing
All right.
is what the movie says.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know. I think they did a good job with him, honestly. Especially, they make sure to like show him being this powerful entity. Where it's you can't kill Galactus. At least not you can't just kill Galactus like it's nothing.
Dang, I was about to say something. I was like, dang it. You're already beating around the bush on every other plot point. I was about to say say exactly what happened at the end of the movie. And I'm like, crap, we need to move on because I'm about to spoil this
Well,
mess.
yeah,
I was just about to talk about
I
it as
was
if like everybody watched this movie.
to be fair, with the 80% drop off in theaters, most people that wanted to see it probably already did.
Mm.
Did you see that 80% drop off in box office over
No,
this weekend?
I didn't see it after what this what was it, the third or the fourth weekend?
Well, whatever the second weekend was, maybe it already did pass. Whatever the
Mm.
second week was, yeah, because the movie came out on the 25th, so it was this week. The over that week after the week, it was a drop off of 80%, which is insane. Honestly, insane drop off for a Marvel movie, while Superman is still going pretty strong.
Mm. I don't know. It's probably because Fantastic Four hadn't been touched in a long time. But I don't know. Anyway, though.
The last time it was touched, it was terrible. The 2015 Fantastic Four is an awful movie.
Mm. All right. Well, I guess that basically does it in terms of all of our talks for Fantastic Four, and thus wraps up all of our stuff with our Marvel segment of the show, though. So yeah, some good stuff, good movies and stuff. So hopefully they give us some decent, good shows to talk about at least for the time being, because otherwise it's gonna be a whole year until we can talk about another movie. So that's like what, a whole nother 20 something oddball episodes of the podcast to make it all the way back up to that point. But we will see. Well, I mean, excluding trailers or whatever that pops up here and now and then, though. But all right,
Yeah,
that's
we'll probably get a Spider-Man trailer before the end of this year.
yeah, probably right around holiday time or something like that. Maybe if we're lucky. All righty. Well, that's going to do it in terms of the Marvel segment. So now we're going to flip it over to the next segment of the show, that being what we've been playing. Not that one. I said what we've been playing. All right, so here we go. All right, so now we got to talk about what we've been playing. I think for both of us, I don't think we've really been doing too much outside of the regular norm of what is going through and playing through Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think for the most
Well,
part, that's what all I've been doing personally.
You don't have it on the list, but we both did play the playtest, but I don't think we can say anything about
Yes,
it.
I want,
Or
I
maybe
want,
we just can't
I
show anything
wanted to
about it.
say something, but I can't, and I don't want to ruin any what could be future potential. Yada yada yada. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. We got in, we got to mess with it, but that's all I'm gonna say. And now,
Yeah,
outs,
we played it.
yeah. So outside of that, though, Donkey Kong Bonanza, um, yeah, I went through actually last episode. I think we were just starting it. As of this episode now, we both have beaten it. You 100% of the game. I have not 100% of the game. I'm roughly out of all of the sub levels in the game. I'm roughly about 2/3 of the way through of 100% in every layer. I got like 1/3 of the game left in terms of its sections to go through in 100% each one of those floors.
I gotcha.
So yeah, so without giving a concrete number away, that way I don't spoil it for somebody else out there that hadn't played the game yet. Yeah, that's where I'm looking at with my 100% run though. But overall, that game is a perfect 11 out of 10. It doesn't get much better than that.
I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I'm speedrunning it right now, actually.
Yeah, I think that's all you've been doing.
Well, once I beat it, yeah. Well, you think I'm gonna go 100% it again? Not yet.
Not yet. No, that's too. That's absolutely too much.
I don't want to get fatigued. If I go 100%ing it again, I'm gonna get fatigued. But speedrunning it is fun. And also, it's good speedrunning. It's good practice for the movement because that will be useful if I ever go 100% it again.
Yeah. So yeah, so that I would say that ending might have been like one of the best Nintendo endings I might have had in a long time. Honestly, to be honest, I probably have to go back to like what Xenoblade 3/2 in terms of having a raw reaction like that. It's been a while for a Nintendo game like that. Like, oh shoot. Um,
I I, I can't really see how Xenoblade 3 would be that crazy, especially because
mm-mm.
I don't know,
No, no,
Xenoblade
no.
3 is
It's
kind of
more like
lost.
it's more like the DLC that incorporated
Yeah, that.
everything together. That's what I was talking about with Xeno 3. Um Sorry, I had something in my mouth. But yeah, no, that ending was so raw, so good, so Pete. If you're a remote fan of Donkey Kong, anything, I highly recommend you getting this game, or at least getting a system so you can play this game because it's well warranted. I say that Donkey Kong is back and he's better than ever. And for the rest of y'all out there, y'all not even ready for this new era of DK we're about to establish right here and right now. That that
Yeah.
um that studio that made the Mario Odyssey game, that studio and team, they did some
Well,
wonders in this game.
yeah, this game is amazing, obviously, but I was gonna say this is just a branch of the Odyssey team. A lot of the main people behind Odyssey are like not credited on this game. This is definitely just a branch of the team that decided to work on something else. Either way, though, does this game does some things better than Odyssey, and it also does some things maybe a little tiny bit worse. Either way, though, I'm extremely glad that Nintendo put some faith in Donkey Kong to be like the main system seller for a little bit, as he rightfully deserves. How many podcasts until we can actually talk about the ending?
Probably never on the podcast. However,
Uh,
we'll have that spoiler discussion coming. So that would be my way of segmenting that off, and we can have
right.
our own dedicated video. So that way, because some people like listen to the pod and not have to worry about all these spoilers. If I throw that up in the middle, dog man, I don't want to
Because
edit a pod like that. That'd be
because
crazy.
this game would have been a very easy 9 out of 10. But then I got to, the ending, and as I'm speedrunning this game, no, this game is a fucking 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Everything
No, no,
about it,
no.
ten
Forget
out
that,
of
man.
ten.
It's not a 10 out of 10. It's a stinking 11 out of 10. I've been waiting for this game, Steven, for the better part of over a decade, and they gosh dang deliver it to 11 out of 10. Dare say 12 out of 10. I was like, oh shoot. Because man, if they didn't come out with that ending, oh man, I don't know. It still would have been good, but I would have been like, dang. I was
Well,
like, I can't believe
that's
this.
what I'm saying.
But now
That's
it's
what
like
I'm
it
saying.
almost feels like the worth is waited. Granted, I don't like waiting that long for a series though, but still, it's good. It's good. It's good. Take
Like
our words for
Odyssey,
it.
like here's the thing: Mario Odyssey has a good ending, but the post game is where Odyssey shines. Odyssey has a ton of post game.
Yeah.
Well, this game doesn't really have as much post game as Odyssey. It is still there. Doesn't have as much post game as Odyssey in the grand scheme of things. Like you can get most of the bananas on your first run through of a level and only have to go back for a small portion of them. Which I like that though. I like that this game you could just barrel through the levels at your own pace. This game definitely has, I don't know, I guess a higher skill ceiling than Odyssey. There are definitely the game definitely has more movement tech than Odyssey, especially with like the chunks and the physics mechanics and the digging.
Oh yeah,
It's
because I seen some
definitely
crazy stuff from people that just been trying to rip and tear and get through the game real fast, like speedrun,
I've
like what
seen
you're
people
doing.
that have torn apart the entirety of every map.
Oh shoot, I saw someone. It took them like what 3 or 4 days to break every little chunk that was on a given
I
stage.
know,
I was
yeah,
like,
it's
oh my
crazy.
goodness. And that's the thing though too. You can't save the game and close the game and restart it because otherwise it resets the terrain by default when you do that mess. And I was like, oh
Yeah,
man, so you have to leave the game up and running the whole time. I'm like, oh gosh. But yeah, no.
yeah,
Overall, Donkey Kong Bonanza is great, and that's the only thing I've been playing. I'm pretty close to 100% that, and I don't know necessarily what would be the next game I want to play after I'm done with this game. I mean, I do know what was it Ninja Gaiden Ragebound just recently came out. I need to pick that up
I
at
kind of
some
want to play
point.
that game.
So
I
that
really
might
do
that
want to
might
play
be the
that game.
next one. It's out right now. Hmm. Yeah, that could be next on the docket. Outside of that, I guess that's all we've been recently playing. So kind of a short segment this week though, but maybe you'll get a little bit more a beefier segment in the show in the next episode though. So here's hoping on that. All right, so that'll be it for that. Now we're gonna jump over to the last major segment of the show, that being what's in the gaming news. All right, Steven. It's been a while since we had our last NSO update. But gosh by golly, Nintendo, they went deep into their archive to pull this one out of the grave. Because apparently the SNES got a brand new game. And no, it's not no random old third-party game. It's stinking Mario Paint. Now I knew this game was gonna come eventually. Once we knew the whole thing with the Joy-Con 2s having that whole mouse compatibility thing. So it made
Oh
sense
yeah,
for them to bring this one to the forefront as like a showcase piece for what the mouse can do. And for those that only have a Switch 1 and not necessarily a Switch 2 yet, you're not left out, or at least not right now, because you can actually use a USB mouse as well on this thing. So no one's really left out. And that's really cool going around messing with this game. Yes, you can paint, but you can also create music. Um, Dang, Steven, remind me, what are the other things you can do up in this game? I know it's
you can
music.
create music. You can do animation and like make sprites. There's the fly swatting mini game, which is really fun. Honestly, I don't know. That's most of it. It's got some really good music. They did a trailer for this game, and that trailer is one of the weirdest Nintendo trailers I've
Oh,
ever
heck
watched.
yes. Yeah, no, that was an entertaining trailer to watch. Like, what was it? It was like a 4 to 5 minute trailer or something like that.
Yeah, like it felt like I was watching some kind of fucking shitpost skit,
I know.
which
No,
I liked that.
the part that got me was whenever Mario was walking And the dude said, "Hey, you can click on all these different letters. It's like, oh, the M can do this, and the something else can make Yoshi appear." And he's like, "And you can click this A right here." And the A fell down on top of Mario and took him out of the shot. And he's like, "Quick, start the video! Start the video!" I was like, "It's just little things like that." I was like, "Oh gosh, he killed Mario on the screen."
Well, yeah. There's also other stuff like what was the moment? It's like at the end of the video he says something. I forget. I don't know. It's just it was. I don't know. You would have to. All I could say is just anyone who's listening to this podcast, just go watch the trailer. It's really hard to describe, but I just love it. It felt like some kind of like weird shit post skit
Oh,
YouTube video.
kind of like one of them videos we were accustomed to getting during like what that Wii U 3DS era, some kind of weird wacky thing like that. It was just good
Yeah, but
entertainment.
the difference is that this one wasn't really cringy
It
or
wasn't
trying to
super
push like
cringy.
a
Yeah,
meme.
no,
It was just I don't know. It was actually just kind of funny because I didn't really expect it at a more NSO trailer of all things.
yeah. So that's a really nice one to have. And I honestly, now that we got this one, first party wise, I don't think there's anything else we're really missing from the Super Nintendo
Well,
at this
Super
point.
Mario RPG, but
Well,
like
that one, but I
kind
mean,
of
we
almost.
kind of have that already on the Switch thanks to the remake. But if you
Yeah,
want
but
the
they did Link's
OG one, then
Awakening.
I guess, yeah, that might be the only thing I'm thinking for Super
They've
Nintendo.
done other games that have remakes
Yeah,
on NSO. There's
but
no reason they shouldn't add it. I don't know. I guess the only reason they wouldn't add it is because like the new one has like the SNES music. It's basically a one-to-one SN of the SNES. I don't know. Mario RPG remake, in my opinion, is better than the original in almost every way.
yeah,
So it's not necessarily needed. Mario Paint is really cool to have. Mario Paint is just an extremely charming little game. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, it is just a music maker and a little drawing, and, MS Paint, but it's fun.
yeah. So overall, I mean, this is really cool. At this point in the game, unless it's some kind of third party game like a Chrono Trigger or something like that, there's not many more things they can announce coming to the Super Nintendo that I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I think that's actually a really good one. I mean, there might be some extreme hidden gems out there. Well,
N64
hold
still
up.
has a ton.
I say that though, but like I think we don't have games such as like Secret of Mana or Trials of Mana, like those on there. I mean, yes, there's other ways to play those games via collections and stuff like that. Maybe there's some Mega Man games that might be missing or something like that. I think kind of
Yeah,
ish.
they're Mega Man X, but like the Mega Man X games are on the Legacy Collection,
Yeah, so
which is already on Switch.
it's more like old games like that are already included in other packages. They're just not on NSO. But for the most part, I think most of the well-known stuff is pretty well represented in the app.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe the next one will be what was it, Mario Illustrated for the N64. Maybe we'll get that one. Who's to say? But yeah, so that's it for that one NSO drop. So hopefully we get some more good stuff here coming here fairly soon. All right, now Steven, it's that time of the year once again. We got to report on all of these fiscal report things that Nintendo has managed to say on their updated numbers in terms of, well, some of it Switch 1 related and some of it is Switch 2 related. So it's going to be weird now. Now we got to report on two different systems though. All right,
Yeah, I was
let's
gonna say, I was gonna say I don't have necessarily as much time as I usually do for the podcast start. I kind of
oh,
have to leave early, but like if we go like if we go through these quickly, I should be able to stay for the whole thing.
what time you got to dip or how
Like
much time?
around 11:40. So like basically what I'm trying to say is we don't got to do like
Oh,
the
okay.
whole top
I
10
got
again
you. I
because
got
I
you.
think the top 10 is like the exact same. So just go over like
Yeah.
anything notable.
All right, so we'll start off with the Switch One related stuff, though. Do do do. Yeah, because a lot of stuff they actually report on was kind of Switch Two related stuff. The top 10, well, yeah, it was still all basically the same order. Nothing really changed outside of it. The biggest thing being is the Switch overall, Switch One sales is sitting at 153.1 million units. That's the updated number. So if you want to crack and beat the PS2, we got to somehow manage to sell 7 million more units. That's going to
Not gonna
be
happen.
incredibly hard, if not difficult, and even tougher now given what just recently happened. We'll circle around to that back in a bit though. Outside of that, I mean that's pretty much it in terms of most of the numbers.
To beat the DS, it needs 1 million.
It'll get the DS. I'm pretty sure it'll get that. So it'll be
It
the
will.
highest selling Nintendo console of all time. It's just could it be the all time great? I don't know. We will see on that. In terms of the Switch 2 updated numbers, um, the overall where it stands right now, the total so far is 8.6 million units have sold for the Switch 2 so far. So
Wait,
8.67.
wait, 8.67? I thought they said 6 million.
Now, here's the thing though. They kind of broke it up into chunks based upon the time limits. As it stands now, if you're just looking for just the most recent number, yes, Steven, it's 8.67. However, you can look at other numbers they also said. Like, for example, they said within the span of 25 days, they sold 5.82 million units. I think you might have saw a number with 6 as well that might have said over a period of so many days or weeks.
Okay, wait, Zard, 8.67 is the amount of software.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
5.82
Oh,
is the amount of
gosh
hardware.
dang it. Gosh dang it. Okay, I'm glad you said that. No, 5.82 million was sold in the span of 25. Dang, well, what the heck? Okay, no. Okay, 8.67 million units of software were sold so far. And the Switch 2 is sitting at 5.82 million sold in the first 25
But
days.
but Nintendo themselves did say that it definitely has surpassed 6 million by now. So let's
Yes.
just be safe. Let's just be safe and say, by what I guess they said however many weeks in. I think this is up to right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
Uh
Yeah. So the
it
Switch
sold
2 sold
definitely
more
6
than
million.
6 million in 7 weeks. That's the number I meant. I'm mixing up my tweets here.
Yep, which does make it the fastest selling console of all time, just by default.
Yeah, that makes it the fastest. And then even with Mario Kart World, which that's like the only, I guess it's still a little too soon to get Donkey Kong Bonanza numbers. But for Mario Kart World, it managed to sell 5.63 million copies worldwide in its 25 days, in its first 25 days. Now, granted, that was 5.63 million copies. In that same amount of time, Switch 2 sold was 5.82. That's like
Jesus
over a
fucking Christ.
97% attach rate or something crazy like that. So basically, everybody that was picking up a Switch 2 was either getting the bundle or was like me, bought the Switch 2 and then also bought Mario Kart World separately because they wanted it physical. But
To be
almost
fair,
everybody and their mama was basically doing that.
these are pretty early numbers, and I guarantee, like, when the Switch 1 came out, the Breath of the Wild attach rate was probably very similar.
Well, it was kind of crazy because I think I remember the Breath of the Wild attachment rate was actually over the percentage of people that actually had a Switch
Well,
at the
because Wii
time.
U.
Yeah. Well, I think it was partially because of Wii U, and then other people because they wanted to get the Switch, but it was sold out, and then they were trying to just get some stuff so that way when they got the console, they were ready for it. But yeah, it was crazy attach rates when it was first out too.
Well, to be fair, this is Mario Kart, so Mario Kart will sell like Mario Kart usually sells, no matter what. Either way, though, I guarantee. Well, we remember. I think we heard a couple weeks back that third parties were kind of underwhelmed by sales on Switch 2, and honestly, I get it. Out of 8.67 million software sales, five almost all of them were Mario Kart. That remaining like 3 million software sales was third parties. That is not a lot considering the amount of games that came out on Switch 2's launch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most of those were probably Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk was the only game that got like a really cool physical version, as well as being like the kind of a big technical showcase from this big third party game.
Hmm. Yeah.
I picked up Cyberpunk. I haven't played that much of it, but the little bit I played was really impressive for Switch 2.
Yeah, so overall it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. In terms of any other numbers, they did say in terms of like upcoming games that are supposed to be coming out, they do still have it slated that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond won't go beyond 2025. They're still
Good.
saying that it's still supposed to be 2025. However, if you look at a game such as what was it? Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, there's like category for 2025 and there's a category for winter, and it's in the winter category. So I'm at this point I'm almost fully certain that that's going to slip into 2026. I don't think that's going to be a 2025 game anymore. Um and I think outside of that, that's basically it in terms of most of the updated numbers. We kind of blasted through what would have been like the, you know, what New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe being that number 10 at 18.36, whereas
I
8
think the top
Deluxe
10
was,
is the same.
yeah, and then 8 Deluxe still being the highest at 68.86. I just want to at least say the Mario
Okay,
Kart
wait.
number.
I just want to know, has Odyssey sold 30 million yet?
No, it's at 29.5.
Maybe the Switch 2 update will get it farther.
It maybe, I don't know, or I don't
Well,
know.
there's also gonna be a ton of people that play Donkey Kong Bonanza and then want to go back and play Odyssey.
Yeah, potentially.
It will pass it, I think. That's just what I want. That big 30 mil would be nice to see.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see. But yeah, I think that's it in terms of all of the fiscal reporting that we wanted to do up on here, though. So yeah, we'll move from that, and we're going to talk about some unfortunate numbers now, because with all that information that went out with all that fiscal reporting stuff, they did come out in a statement and saying, yeah, pricing on original Nintendo Switch family of systems and products in the USA will change based on quote unquote market conditions effective August 3rd. Officially today, on the date of this podcast is airing, all the stuff has changed. So now we know the new pricing on what would be on basically a lot of different stuff like the consoles, some of the accessories and stuff like that. They did say that the pricing for the Switch 2 system and Switch/Switch 2 physical and digital games and NSO memberships will remain unchanged at this time. Thank goodness, because I don't
At
need
this
that.
time,
I don't need it going up any higher, but emphasis on at this time though. If we wanted to look at the new updated pricing on like the Nintendo Switch consoles, the Switch Lite used to be at 200, now it's at 230. The base Switch used to be 300, now it's 340. And this one's a real kicker. The Switch OLED that used to be at 350 is now at 400. That one right there, if you were
that's
thinking
the
about it getting,
prime.
if you were thinking about getting the OLED, you best to forget it now and just pay the extra $50 and just get a Switch 2 at that point. I cannot see or recommend anybody buying an OLED at this point anymore, unless you just had a stupid amount of money and you just wanted to get it just because you just wanted to have every type of what happens to be a Switch
Yeah.
console coming out. But otherwise,
I
no.
also I also feel bad for people that traded in their original Switches to get Switch 2s, because now, the value of their Switch has increased just after time, the value of their Switch has increased just by holding on to it. Like my Switch OLED is now worth $50 more than it would have been originally.
Yeah.
I think it's just fucking stupid, honestly. Like this I as much as I would hate it, like I would understand if they did this with Switch 2. They're doing this with Switch 1.
Mm.
Like I don't know, is this some kind of weird tactic to just get people to buy Switch 2 instead? Like, oh, we're gonna increase Switch 1 prices so dramatically that people will just decide to pick up a Switch 2 instead.
No, I mean, I know some of it's probably, and this is only for the USA. Let's just keep it straight. So in case you happen to watch this from somewhere else, because I know Canada has gotten some stuff up, prices updated in the past. We saw the markup stuff that happened with Xbox consoles. We were just talking about last episode, Steven. We were talking about that Xbox console going up to 600 or whatever. Though we were just mentioning it again. Lo
Yeah,
and
way
behold, we
too
didn't
much.
think the Switch One, after 8 years or so, it's going up in price when we're used to having consoles go down in price. But
It
that
just
mess
feels
don't
used. Yeah,
happen
the
anymore.
Switch with the I love the Switch One, but my God, that hardware is dated. That is 2013 hardware, by the way, in the Switch One.
Yeah.
It was outdated by the time they were fucking using it in 2017.
Yeah, so that wasn't the only thing that went up in terms of price. All the NSO controllers had price increases as well. So like basically all the NSO controllers added an additional $5 to what it originally was. However,
Which
the
oh my,
NES, well, it's two controllers in one, so it went from 60 to 70. SNES 30 to 35. The 64 and the Genesis went from 50 to 55. I think the GameCube controller stays at where it's at. Thankfully, I
no, I
don't.
think it went.
Did it
Pretty
go?
sure it went up five. It went
Mm,
up from 65 to 70. I'm pretty sure.
well, I see a tweet over here. It's still listed as 65, unless it was originally 60. I can't remember. Amiibo
I don't
used
know.
to be $16, and any Amiibo that sold for 16 in the past now got marked up to 20. But some 2 packs of like $30 Amiibo could be now 40 or 35 or something like that.
That is a terrible idea. Nintendo's gonna get bitten in the ass, and they're not gonna
But
sell.
hold up, Steven. The most important thing is the Alarmo clock went from $100 to 110. Now that's
Literally,
outrageous.
why?
That's
Literally,
outrageous.
why?
Look, man, I love my alarm clock. It's what gets me out of the bed every morning, though. But like, my goodness, man, we shouldn't have to be paying that much for that. I don't know. Anyway, though,
I Yeah.
that's pretty much all of the updated prices. So pretty much almost everything across the board has gone up. Shoot, even some Switch 2 accessories gone up. Like the was it the Switch 2 Joy-Cons were originally 95. Now they're officially $100 a pop for a pair.
It's crazy.
The
Oh, that's
Switch
the stuff I'm mad about right
the
here.
Switch One Pro controller is now oh gosh, how much did that go up to? The difference between it went up like almost $10 for the Switch One Pro controller. So now the difference between the Switch One Pro controller and the Switch Two Pro controller is like $5. If you have a Switch Two, it's not even worth getting the Switch One anymore. You might as well just get the Switch Two Pro controller, with the price difference being that little. Yeah, they raised it. No, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Uh,
So it's just kind of crazy to seeing all of these prices go up. And some places, as of the point of this doing this podcast live, have not fully implemented all the changes yet. But come Monday morning, they probably will. So it's just
if
gonna
you
be
want my
unfortunate.
opinion, this is going to bite Nintendo in the ass really, really bad
Now,
when the holiday season comes.
here's the thing. I don't think the additional $40 on a base Switch is gonna break the bank for most people, considering the
I think
cost
the
of
accessories
everything.
will.
The accessories kind of ish, but luckily for the most part, most things only got a $5 increase. The Amiibo stuff is starting to get a little dumb because that is a little bit too much. But I think it's because of them
Yeah,
tariffs from
like
China and whatever. Though.
especially because they don't even do a lot in games anymore.
Yeah. But I think the real kicker is, I guess, is they're trying. I feel like they're trying to mark up the stuff they can mark up, the accessories, old hardware and stuff, while they're trying to keep the new thing, the thing they're moving forward with the Switch 2. They're trying to keep that mess exactly where it's at
Yeah,
by
they're trying to make
bringing
it look
up
like a better deal.
everything else. Like I feel like that will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, is when they have to actually mark up the Switch 2 that's selling now for a base of 450. If that were to move up to a 500, or the Mario Kart World bundle be moved up to
Okay,
550. I
I'm
think
just
that's
gonna
the
say this:
last thing they're trying to do.
If Switch 2 moves up to 500, that is awful because at that point Like it is competing against PS5.
Funnily enough, it wouldn't be competing against the Xbox because the Xbox jumped. I don't know how it went up to 600 though, but
And
yeah, no.
people already compare this thing to Steam Deck. Steam Deck would be at a very noticeable advantage with that price point if Nintendo did that.
I like how people always bring up that argument though, but it's kind of funny how the Switch 2 sold more than any other handheld gaming PC that's out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
But
to be fair, a lot of the people that bought Switch 2 at launch were like hardcore fucking Nintendo fans from the Switch 1 era. I'm
true.
pretty sure when the holiday season comes, the parents are not going to want to get their kid a $500 console plus $100 like micro SD card because all of the games are, all of the game key cards take up way too much space. So they're gonna need a micro SD card probably. Plus whatever games they want. Plus a pro controller is like 90, was it 95? Either 90 or 95 now, which is fucking insane. And let's just say they do want an extra pair of Joy-Cons or something. Yep, $100. That's terrible. Remember when Wii remotes would be bundled in with games? That was
oh
the good
yeah,
days.
no, we way past that now. It used to be a whole different era of gaming back then.
I know. It's sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the updated numbers in terms of all the stuff that managed to get price hikes. It's a little unfortunate just seeing all this stuff happen, and like I felt like we just recently had price hikes. Not too well. I say not too long ago. It was basically like what, a month before the Switch
I
2
think
came out.
Canada got them.
And then Canada got an increase, I think, in NSO subscriptions not too long ago either. So I don't know. Across the globe, things have just naturally been going up. It's just the way how the economy is now. It sucks, but I don't know. It is what it is. So you're just gonna have to cherry pick and choose what's actually important for you right now: eating or playing a game. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'd hope people understand that there's really only one right answer there.
Well, we'll see. I ain't gonna answer that for people though. But anyway, though, all right. So that is it for now. I was about to jump to the Pokemon Present stuff, but you say you're running tight on time, so we're gonna jump over to the partner showcase announcements now.
To be fair, not much happened in that presents at all.
I mean, the most notable thing was probably the Pokepark thing. Everything else, and let me say this out here. No, we're just gonna summarize this real quick. Not even gonna take me a
Yeah, it's
minute.
fine.
Steven,
Fine.
don't ever give my people on this show hope when it comes to Pokemon Presents. Let me, hype people up or de-escalate the hype, because everything that came out of my mouth was exactly true verbatim. The only thing I didn't include was Pokepark. I didn't think that was gonna be a thing. But everything
Fucking
else, in terms of the layout, how I said it, even how they started it, with Pokemon Worlds, was 1-to-1 exactly the way how I described it. And I said the only thing you're getting is Legend ZA, and that's it. And I said 1 to 2 new Mega Evolutions. We got that with Mega Dragonite, and that was it, point blank,
oh,
period. And
I
you
know
wanted to
it
say
sucks.
they wanted to tease Gen 10.
I thought it was a possibility, but no, it's not fucking happening anytime soon. I've lost all faith in Pokemon Company to do anything interesting during their showcases. Either way, though, Mega Dragonite is one of the most mid designs I've ever seen. It's not really all that great. I do not like how
I
Mega
wish the
Dragon
wings was
looks.
on its back. I like the tail though, and I do like Mega Dragonite. I wanted that boy for the longest time. I love myself some dragons. Y'all should know this about me by now though. But goodness, I just wish the wings was on the back and not on his head. I don't know. Goodness. Anyway though, yeah. Overall, not the greatest Pokemon presents in the world, but I mean it is what it is. All right, now to the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. Now, everybody and their mama was expecting this to be a general Nintendo Direct. However, I knew good and well that wasn't necessarily probably going to be the case, because I felt like, and I've been telling you this for the longest time, Steven, if they were going to give us a Direct of some kind, they didn't really need to give us one that focused on first party games. They just needed to tell us one release date for a game that's coming out in September. They tell us that, all the other first party games can be held off to a September Direct, because we're kind of in a weird limbo-y kind of in between period where we're bringing in a new console on the market. So that's what my gut was telling me. Give me an announce date for something that's supposed to come out in September, and we can wait for the rest of the stuff for September Direct because we already know Legends EA will fill out October. Give Nintendo 2 months, they can market and put out a game. So I'm like, hey, that's all I really needed though. But Nintendo's like, yeah, we're not ready for this mess yet. So they gave us a partner showcase.
I don't understand. Like, are they really just gonna give us the release date for Metroid Prime 4 in a Nintendo Today
No,
post?
I don't think so because at this point, considering how I
It
think,
better get its own direct.
yeah. Well, hold on. I guess I'll get a little ahead of myself. Let's just talk about all these announcements.
Yeah, partner showcase.
Yeah. So they started off the show with I think one of the three major highlights I was able to come out of this thing with Monster Hunter Stories 3. You know what?
That's pretty cool.
I'm that looks really cool. I like how the fact that it has matured with each release from like the very first one 3DS, the second one was on the Switch, and now we got the third entry on the Switch too. Yeah, that's a day one pickup for me. I'm excited for this. That's the only thing I really like getting myself into with the Monster Hunter series is with the story series. Probably just because of the RPG element of it though. But I like how they're actually like in the whole freaking war now or whatever. Though, and they're trying to stop this thing.
It
I'm like,
also
oh
looks
man,
slightly different.
yeah.
It looks a little more like it kind of bridges that like Fire Emblem slash Xenoblade gap.
Yeah, so I like how everything looks a little more mature. It looks tiny a little bit dark, but it's not really dark or whatever though. But yeah, I wasn't expecting. I knew Capcom was gonna bring something to the table. I was thinking like maybe remakes of Resident Evil 2, 3, or something like that. But I wasn't thinking they're gonna come in with a new entry to the Monster Hunter series like that. Like that's crazy though. So that kind of gave me hope for this direct. Like, oh, we might get some good stuff up in here though. And good stuff we did, but it was kind of few and far between for the most part, at least though. Let's see here. What was dang? I don't even have like an official. I know how they started it. I know how they ended it. But I'm trying to, and I know what they threw in the middle. But I'm trying to remember every
Yeah,
little small thing that they
wait.
had, at
I
least in
can
chronological order.
Plants vs Zombies was pretty close to the beginning. I'm very happy about Plants vs Zombies, but it kind of is just the Xbox 360 version of the game again. Whatever, I'm gonna buy it. I don't care. I'm gonna buy Plants vs Zombies. Um, Pac-Man World 2 was really cool. You probably don't have that on your list. Pac-Man World 2 repack is fucking awesome to see. I really like the first Pac-Man World repack, so I'm gonna definitely play this one.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's really hard to remember anything that wasn't at the end. This was a really badly paced direct. They had a section about Star Wars Outlaws. They had a section about
They
this
had
and that.
the other one I think was the calamari game. I feel like that pops his head up in like every other direct. I don't know why. I feel like they pump those things out left and right. You had your Just Dance 2026, whatever. You already mentioned
Yeah.
about Plants vs Zombies, so I guess that's the one you're looking forward to. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm glad that's coming
Oh
over, but
yeah,
like, oh
that.
shoot, how the heck is that running on the Switch One? I understand the Switch Two. The Switch Two version should be fine,
Now
but that
it
Switch
looks like
One version, I was like, oh gosh.
it looks kind of bad on the Switch one.
Oh man. Oh no. Do yourselves a favor. The game's great. Don't get on that Switch One. Just hold out. Just hold out a little longer. Save up some money and get on a stronger system. Um they had another FIFA game. It's weird just calling that EA Sports now. Whatever now. You already talked about the Pac-Man World repack. Let's see here. And then they had the realest Madden ever. Yeah, you got to have a little more sports games up in here though. I think right in the middle is whenever they threw that Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity trailer out there. Got a little bit more gameplay, got a little more footage. Most importantly, no release date. They said, hey, tune in at a later given point to get more information on that. And for now, it's scheduled to come out some point winter. At this point, they went from winter of 2025 in the last show that they were in with showcasing off that game to now just saying flat out winter.
It's not coming out in
So
2020.
I think it's a
It's
2026
not.
game. I think it fell out of the calendar. With it being made by Koei Tecmo, they're probably just giving them enough time that they need to actually put out a good game on the market and not trying to rush them. I think that's kind of what's happening with that game. Um,
Probably. I don't even know if Kirby Air Kirby Air Riders is a whole nother case because like they did say 2025, but like what is that game gonna be like a fucking December release and they'll show it in the September direct? That's why,
Mm,
in my opinion, it was really weird they did a partner showcase of all things.
yeah. I
It
think.
also kind of confirms in my mind a lot of people were holding out hope that there was going to be like a holiday game for Nintendo. Like, oh, Nintendo's going to have one more big holiday game they're hiding. No, there isn't. It's
Mm,
Pokemon.
yeah, it's just Pokemon for the most part. I think after that, you had a cozy campfire calls. That one was a
I
little
can't
weird.
I can't believe they spent like fucking 3 minutes on that of all things.
I mean, you got to have your cozy games, Steven.
Yeah, don't spend 3 minutes on it. Put it in the fucking sizzle reel.
I don't know that cozy, that cozy audience. They just need that campfire game. They got to use some Switch 2 cameras somehow, man. You know, you got to see people's reactions throwing them sticks on the logs. You got to smoke out that stick and stuff before you throw it in the fire. I don't know.
I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand what
Now,
Nintendo
now,
was
now,
thinking.
now that one's a weird one. I'll give you a little bit of a better indie game, Steven, because
Okay.
dog, dang, I can't remember. Oh, the game's called Hella. And that one is you're playing around as my boy Biggie Cheese, that fat rat, swinging things around like Spiderman, whatever, like swinging from the barnyard and stuff, getting up to who knows what. That game right there might have potential, and it comes out in 2026, and it has multiplayer and stuff as well. Steven, I might convince you to get this game because we might get up. You know how much I'd be calling people and things rats and stuff like that. I don't know. The game was kind of calling out to me just a little bit though. It might be a guilty pleasure kind of game. We will see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. We'll see.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I genuinely just hate that. I genuinely hated most of the stuff in that partner showcase.
Oh
And then
goodness.
the ending made it slightly better, just a
Yeah.
little bit. But
Yeah.
like,
There was 3 other announcements before we got to the closeout. You had Star Wars Outlaws, which I think a lot of people was kind of
they
expecting
already
that to show
showed
down.
that.
Survive to the Future in ground grow grow Chronos. Yeah, that game wasn't doing it for me. I'm sorry. And then Sega had a decent presence up in this show.
Oh yeah.
They had a couple more Yakuza games. Kiwami 2, that's coming out, I think, on it's either November 13th or the 14th. And also a Switch 2 version of Kiwami 1 also coming over. So Sega's pumping these things out left and right now with the Yakuza games.
Yeah, to be fair, I think they're just gonna do them little by they're gonna do a Yakuza game like every couple months, and then eventually the whole series will be out on Switch.
Yeah,
And
so
either way, I think it's cool that they're giving the original Yakuza Kiwami a performance patch because I heard that thing kind of ran rough on Switch 1.
oh yeah. Yeah, so
So now
that's
you have
nice.
you have Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 now on Switch.
Yeah, so not too bad, not too bad. So
And I think to my knowledge, there's a collection of 3, 4, and 5. So that's probably the next thing we'll do.
yeah, that'll probably be next up. So yeah, so that was pretty much all of the announcements until you got to the closeout. Now, with the stingers, with the directs, it's how you start them and how you end them is usually the most impactful games that usually get showcased off in any direct. Doesn't matter if it's a mini, a partner showcase, or a general Nintendo direct. That's where a lot of the eyes start to look up. And I remember I was watching this show. It was mildly early in the morning. It was like 8ish or something when it was airing for me. And then I was like, all right, here's the closeout. I was like, what do we got here? And I saw that Square Enix logo pop up, and instantly I started straightening up in my chair because you never know with Square Enix. It's either really good or it's really bad. There's not a lot of in between. So anytime you see that logo pop up, I had to straighten myself up. I was like, oh shoot, it's time to really wake up now. And I was looking at it, and I was looking at the artwork, and I'm like, wait a gosh dang minute. I was like, hold up here. Is this what I think it is? And I started looking at it more, and I was like, heck freaking yes. This is a brand new HD 2D game from Square Enix, and I was like, heck, freaking yes. What are we getting ourselves up into this time? And it's an action RPG. It's different from like Octopath Traveler, that's just a standard RPG, or Live Alive, which is a standard RPG, but it's like bite-sized experience, or Triangle Strategy, where it was a strategy RPG or something like that. Now we're getting into action-based, so it's kind of like Secret of Mana fused with some Legend of Zelda elements up in here. I was like, sign me up on this mess. Gosh dang it. And that was the one thing I was telling you, Steven, when we were having our calls in our Discord, is that's the one thing I want out of this direct. Give me the next new HD 2D game, kind of like how Octopath Traveler was new when the Switch 1 first came out, and I'll be a happy camper. I got that and then some more, though. But man, oh man. And they even put out a demo for this game, and I even tried that. This game's already a 10 out of 10, Steven. I mean, yes, they can optimize some things better with the menu stuff, which is the only thing I'm going to say on that player feedback survey thing. But they're cooking over here. Like, this is Square Enix's version of a Zelda game, and pulling some roots from the Secret of Mana stuff. I'm here for it. I'm going to be on this game day one on this mess. This is some good stuff.
I've heard some good things from people that played it, but to me, it was just a weird announcement to like end it with, honestly.
Well, it's not even to end it with, because it wasn't even the true ender.
Okay, how about this? This should have been the thing to end it with.
It should have. Honestly, I would, if I were Nintendo, I would have flipped the trailers around.
Yeah, because we'll get to it, but this game looks cool. It's like a Zelda. It's definitely very, very Zelda inspired. The voice acting kind of sounded really bad in the trailer, but besides that, like, I'm gonna try the demo probably. It's a Switch 2 exclusive game with a Switch 2 exclusive demo, so I gotta try that. And then the game after this was so goddamn underwhelming that I kind of just was. I turned off the stream. I was watching it at work and turned it off.
Okay,
So
all right. So I got to talk on this one then. So
Yeah,
this one, we got not one, we got 2 HD 2D games. And I was like, nah, you gotta be freaking kidding me over here. What in the heck is Square Enix doing over here? But then I started to think in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, we technically already saw this before. This is Octopath Traveler 0. It's like a prequel to the original Octopath Traveler that we got on the Switch 1 way back when. However, this is a game that was originally on mobile, but now they kind of rebranded it, calling it Octopath Traveler 0 and all of this stuff, though. But I think they're just going to optimize this to where it's just basically like a full-fledged console experience versus with a mobile game, you having all those microtransactions. Because as you can see in that trailer, you start seeing some other characters and stuff that were originally in the first Octopath Traveler game. I guess you can either use them, play them, or something like that to that effect, though. So yeah, and we have a release date already for this. It's supposed to come out I think it's in that first week or two of December. So we don't have to wait too terribly long for this. Now, I'm one of those people that have bought every single one of those HD 2D games. So for better or for worse, I might just have to get out of obligation for that. Octopath Traveler 1 was really good. 2 was good. It was just got a little grindy at the end. So I'm curious how I would think or feel about Octopath Traveler 0. With it kind of being a little closer to the first one in the series, though. So I was just kind of shocked that we got 2 HD 2D games back to back. But with this game already kind of existing, it kind of makes sense now. It's not like they had to do like a whole lot of work with this. The groundwork's already laid out, essentially, though. But yeah, if I were Nintendo, I would have switched Octopath Traveler 0 and basically the new HD 2D game with the Adventures of Elliot. I would have switched those two around because Elliot, that's the 2026 game. And I'm highly hyped for that. Octopath Traveler 0, I'll probably still pick it up. I'm not be as excited as what I would be with Elliot, though. But good announcements overall. Good announcements. Not necessarily too bad.
I think it was just a bad idea to show 2 HD 2D games after one another. Because a lot of people see the first game and they're like, okay, it looks cool. And then they see the second game and they're like, oh, another one? Like, you know what I mean, right? Like, I feel like they're doing too many of these. Because you got the Dragon Quest ones coming out. You got these ones. Really,
yeah, I mean, because Dragon Quest 1 plus 2 is supposed. Wait, hold on. When is the release date for that? Because that's supposed to
Like
come out
later,
this year.
it's like October or something. I don't know. It's later this year. They did give it a release date. Either way, though, Zard, I just think it was a really bad idea to have both of these games. Personally, I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. At least for me, I felt like that ending was just almost purely speaking to me, to be honest, though. But regardless, though, if I were to give this whole entire oh goodness, if I were to try to give this whole entire presentation a letter grade, I think I gave it a C plus. Not the best, but not the worst thing in the world. Started off strong, ended off strong. It's all that stuff in the middle that was kind of like, So, oh gosh dang, how the heck, I didn't even include this on the list. Persona 3 Reload, heck freaking yes. That's also coming over to the Switch too. Persona fans that are only on the Nintendo consoles, they eating good too. That was another personal highlight.
Right.
But a lot of these games, it's either I played them already on a different console, or I get to play a game I'm excited for, like Elliot, Monster Hunter Stories 3, but those are all the way out in 2026. So that's just kind of where I'm at personally.
I'm giving it a C minus because literally every game is a fucking game key card, and I'm really getting pissed about the game key
Oh
card.
yeah, and they revealed that mess like after the fact, which was kind of funny.
Even though in the direct it says physical.
Man, I don't know. Maybe they need to put like an asterisk next to it down there though, if they know it's going to be a
But
game
this
key
is-
card.
yeah, this
But
is-
then again,
calculation.
you never know what these companies, because like for example, some companies might go after the fact and decide they might want to release a game physical when it was probably either number one, a digital only, or it could have been a game key card, and now they're like, oh, okay, now we're gonna actually give you the physical game. Like for example, Fantasy Life I Had a Girl Who Steals Time. That was a digital only game, but then they went back and saw the sales of how it did well, at least in Japan, and they said now we're actually gonna give a physical version for it. So some companies can technically go back and do that. So if anybody were to go back and watch one of these directs and it says physical, and maybe you left an asterisk next to it at first thinking it's a game key card, but now they got a version that's not a game key card. They got to future proof these things, so they're just gonna say physical if it's physical in a weird
It's
way.
just dumb. I get you. I don't know. Kind of just annoying though, because literally, if they do change their mind and eventually do real physical releases, it's gonna make the people that already bought the game key cards mad.
I guess so, but then you're also
I-
diving into a whole audience of people, because some people may not even get the game key cards. They might buy digital, or they're just gonna skip it entirely. And then once they announce we got a true physical, like how Limited Run has done with other games in the past that were only digital only, then you'll get a whole nother group of people that might do it. I don't know. It's something that hopefully Nintendo can work on, because I guess from what I heard, like each one of those cartridges cost about almost like $17.50. And it's not like Nintendo's going to eat the cost of it, or at least for a lot of these third-party games. They might do it for some really close partners, but no, with the average person, no, you got to fork up the extra money. And ain't no way that you're a Puyo Puyo Tetris out there and you're like, oh yeah, no, the game normally costs like what, $20,
Yeah.
and then it's like, no, there's no way we're paying an extra $17.50, so we got to mark the game all the way up to almost $40 when the game should have been $20. At that point, it's not even worth it. So of course they're going with the game key card. So you kind of understand why they're doing it. It's just, it's just a bit unfortunate.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So so if you're getting a Switch 2, it might be really important, especially depending on how many third-party games you play. You're gonna have to get used to like the PS5, Xbox people, where you're just gonna have to get in the habit of downloading certain games and then deleting them when you're done, or invest in these bigger micro SD express cards, because for better or for worse, we're treating games like digital for a lot of these games that we're gonna wind up probably getting on the Switch 2 anyway. But yeah, overall, not the greatest direct in the world, but certainly not the worst. My personal highlights was definitely Elliot. a little bit of Octopath Traveler 0, but then also Monster Hunter Stories 3. Those are the only games I probably will pick up from this presentation. What about you, Steven? The games you would get out of this thing?
I'll probably pick up Elliot, depending on if I like the demo. I'm definitely picking up Pac-Man. Definitely picking up Plants vs Zombies. Might pick up Persona. I don't know if I would actually play it on this.
Hold up. Have you played Persona 5?
I haven't played any Persona game though.
Oh, that could be interesting. You could start with
I'll
3.
I'll eventually get to them. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm not in a rush. But yeah, Plants vs Zombies, Pac-Man, and Elliot definitely. Monster Hunter Stories 3, maybe.
And then you said Persona 3. I mean, shoot, you walked away with 5. I was only able to walk away with 3. All right. Anyway, though. All right. I guess that about does it in terms of all of our thoughts on the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. And with all of that being said, that is going to do it for the whole entire episode of my ZardCast episode 108. So, man, a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I mean, this was kind of one of those classic episodes of the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's just going to be like that sometimes. Like, you can't have all positive, you can't have all negative. It just is what it is, though. All right, Steven. Well, I know you're crunched for time, so let the fine people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at StevenJr1231, or you can find me on the collab channel I do with some friends called Spaghetti Fiscal on YouTube.
Alrighty, and that's going to do it in terms of this episode right here, though. So if you really like this, make sure you're going to hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. If you're curious and want to support the channel just a little bit more, you can feel free to hit that join link down below. But that's going to do it for y'all. So if you also happen to be listening to this on like an audio listening device, such as like, YouTube Music, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Yes, you can listen to me in the car. Then feel free to let people know. Say, hey, this is just a podcast. Just a couple of dudes just like to talk about everything game related to pop culture and everything else in between, though. But that's going to do it in terms of this episode right here, though. So remember, y'all, until our video I make next, until my next ZardCast episode, that being my episode 109, I'll see y'all later.